Today we're rating AI-generated Magic the Gathering cards. Let's see if anything Zybers, Dangers is doable, or who knows who we'll vote for either. Maybe Deeply, Flying, or Sprout. Okay, we're going to start off with the Truspendancer. It's a white 1/1 human warrior. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have lifelink, destroy Truspendancer. Another zombie. If it doesn't have life, so I can only play lifelink zombies if I play this creature. In fact, I don't even know why I'm bending backwards for this damn card. What are you doing for me? You're a 1/1 for 2 mana. You don't even have any synergy with my zombie creatures. While technically doable, I mean, this card sucks. Normally, when you build your deck around a card, it's for some sort of benefit. This one has no reason whatsoever. Anyway, doable but not good. Okay, next up we've got the Aquadoa Light Skykin. Aquadoa Light Skykin. A blue 5 generic 2/1 human wizard for all that mana. It's got Companion. You have no cards. What, in my hand? Is this like a Hellbent card or something? Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on another target attacking creature, draw a card. I have to attack while putting the counters on it. That is an interesting ability. So, and it's actually quite difficult to pull off. Maybe for the what's it called? Not the it was that mechanic where you pay a cost, you put a counter on it, you got some ability. That's actually quite interesting. You could also sacrifice 2 blue creatures, and Aquadoa gets +1/+0 and gains reach until end of turn. I don't know how much I'm using that last ability. It's not particularly interesting, but it's a companion, so it's like free real estate. Have it off into your sideboard, and I guess when you have no I'm assuming no cards in your hand, like, and also in the late game, which is something you can pull off. Card is I don't know if it's that bad. I mean, if one or more +1/+1, if you're putting +1/+1 counters on your attacking creatures, I think that's pretty sick, and you're drawing cards off of it. And on top of that, you've got no cards in your hand. That's the whole point of this companion. So you get to refill your hand from there. Yeah, 2/1 for 7 mana. Don't forget, you can sacrifice 2 blue creatures to get +1/+0. In theory, if you have enough tokens in play, it could one-shot your opponent. Do not underestimate the Aquadoa, the Light Skykin. Okay, very doable. Very interesting, actually. Yeah, companions have deck building restrictions. There is no hand while building a deck. Sure. Oh, wait a minute. You have no cards. That's right. I didn't read the companion ability correctly. It needs this needs to be fulfilled before the game starts. But that is true. Before the game starts, you do have no cards in hand. Interesting. Yeah, during deck building. It does not concern while you are playing. So you can actually have a full grip and still play the Aquadoa. A very weak restriction, in my opinion. Very weak. We've got the Trianged Mahava. It is a white, red, blue X for a 7/7 avatar. All creatures attack each combat if able. That's right. You guys got to duke it out into the red zone, no matter what. It's time to fight. Nobody's safe from everybody's creatures. And as an additional cost to cast this spell, exile X creature cards from your graveyard. Can X be 0? Like, I don't see any benefit to this. X can be 1, which will just make this a 7 mana card. But I think X can be 0. It's like, I cast X as 0. That's my additional cost. Yeah, finally X. Finally the X's work. And it's completely useless. So yes, we'll pay 0. Exactly. So I will pay 0. Why would I even want to exile my creatures? To prevent my opponent from getting them? I guess there are some decks like that, you know? They try to go swipe your creatures from your graveyard. Well, not anymore! Not with the Trianged Mahava. Keeping my graveyard nice and clean. Oh, Noxar thinks it's Zybers. You can exile cards in your graveyard to stop your opponent from reanimating them. That's exactly right. And you guys know exactly what decks to play around with this. All right, it is doable and slightly interesting. We have an island. We also have the Honored Flame. It's a red 5 generic 3/2 human rogue with Menace. Whenever this creature attacks, each opponent creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Look at that art! This guy's getting completely overrun by these zombies. It's also very funny. It gets the menace mechanic, which means you can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Yet it's producing creatures for the opponent to block them. And it's also very fitting that in Commander, each opponent gets the 2/2 black zombie creature token. That is wild. It's just completely overrun by zombies immediately. Yeah, pretty pretty terrible, but very doable. Balance, but the cost is high. Yeah, it's 6 mana to donate zombies to everybody else. Why are these creatures so damn expensive? Well, maybe the AI learned, very early on in the show, the AI gave these creatures that were like 0 mana. So they learned that, for great power comes great casting cost. It's evolving. It's artificial intelligence. It learns. Maybe it play tested against itself and realized, oh my god, these cards are just broken. These games are ending too quickly. Gotta increase the mana cost on these things. So is today pack filler day or something? I don't know the reference to that. Today is Human Kindred AI. Okay, doable. Yeah, very doable. Not even weird looking. The Battle of the Moon. it's these antelopes on the moon. All right, yeah, this is the great Battle of the Moon. Everyone traveled by space for the great and perhaps the last battle of the entire multiverse. And it's happening, no, not on Ravnica, not on Zendikar, but the moon. All right, it's a blue-green 4 generic for the 5/6 antelope. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Holy crap, you can just wipe the board and, take everything. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Battle of the Moon. That's also pretty strong. Now, it is 6 mana. Is this fair for 6 mana? I think it's fine. 6 mana is a lot of mana. When the adventurer will never brings to the Incried the party of one of the righteous looks. Well spoken by the antelopes. It's exactly what they said before they unleashed horror on the moon. I guess when you wipe everything out, everything spawns. I guess this is the respawn point in the multiverse. When you die, you just go to the moon. And that's when the real battle begins. Jaded likes it for 6 mana. 6 mana, no protection, seems fine. It looks good to me. This might be a banger card, actually. It could be printed. I think it is balanced. If you wrath it, it dies too, so the effect doesn't work. You have to build around wraths that only blow up your opponent's stuff, or you got to give it protection, indestructible, or play what's it called, blasphemous act. But make sure you've gained enough life so that the Battle of the Moon is big enough to survive it. Shred, bury it, and explode. Balance, but demolishes the color pie. That's okay. Because the moon has no color pie. I like it. The Battle of the Moon. Okay, next up, we've got the Anointer of the Slimes. It's a red 1 generic 5/5 dragon with flying. That's pretty strong. Protection from everything. This is like True Name Nemesis 2.0. The mini Progenitus. It's so chunky. Also, it gets Monstrosity 4 for blue, and untap. How does that work? It becomes monstrous and gets 4 counters on it. So it can be a 9/9 indestructible dragon. Or not indestructible, it has protection from everything. Sorry, those are 2 different things. And then whenever Anointer of the Slimes attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target. So it's even taking things down while it's attacking. So what is okay, it's effectively an 11 power creature. Attack for 5, deal 2 damage, that's 7, pay double blue, untap it, monstrosity for 4. It danger! It absolutely at danger. It's our first at danger card of today. Yeah, basically Progenitus, but way better. And way faster. and is mono red. You don't even need to have it in a blue deck. Yeah, is it Commander players are salivating right now? Ban it on the spot. Ban it before spoiler season. Ban it back into production. Maybe too many keywords got accidentally spilled on this thing. And Platonic Liquid's looking on the plus side. But he's so cute, though. What's another cute card that's, like, really dangerous in Magic the Gathering? You let me know in the comments section below. Yeah, it's Legendary Severe Commander. If you kill it, it will be back. The Anointer of Slimes. No way. Too strong. Not doable. Not anything. Alright, Borrowed Hero, a black 2 generic 3/3 elf horror. Carrying some sort of weird zombie. Doesn't even look like an elf. Okay, at the beginning of your upkeep, put an ice counter on Borrowed Hero. Remove 3 ice counters from Borrowed Hero. Create a tapped Power Stone token, activate only during your turn. If a card would be put into exile from your graveyard, exile that card. Yeah, that's correct. That is how the card works. Thank you for explaining to me what happens when something goes into exile. Now, you could remove all ice counters from Borrowed Hero, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. This is all technically doable, but it's boring as hell. Yeah, the Power Stone Shard. So close. Is actually quite fair. It's 3 mana, 3/3. You get ice counters. You remove 3 ice counters, you get a Power Stone token. So if I remember correctly, Power Stone tokens can only be used on colorless spells and abilities, or something to that effect. The hero is a weird elf, and I find it funny. Is this thing even alive, or is it dead? Create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. There's no sapling in this background. Whatever. Okay. Doable. Print it. We have better things to look at. We got the Shattered Phantom. Probably met its match against the Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. It's a 3 mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. Flipping coins, huh? If Shattered Phantom is in your graveyard, you win 2 times. That's interesting. So, if we put this card in the graveyard, anytime we're going to flip a coin and we win both of them, there are cards that synergize with this. Like, if you flip a coin, X happens. And you're not going to lose. You definitely win twice. That's good luck. When Shattered Phantom dies, create a 0/1 green wolf. Honestly, I don't even know why I'd be on the battlefield in the first place. This is like the next, what's it called? Bridge from Below, where you don't put it from hand to play. It goes directly into graveyard. Either from hand to graveyard or deck to graveyard immediately. Can you win the game off of this thing? Best of 3. Free coin flip. Yes, you get free coin flip, and you always win. Does it win games 1 and 2? I don't think so. At the beginning, it just says you flip a coin. If it's in your graveyard, you win 2 times. You win the coin flip twice, if it's relevant to a card in play. This plus Amulet of Quaz, that stupid card that... There you go! The Amulet of Quaz. It's the Annie card that makes you flip a coin. Oh no, but I don't think it triggers upon flipping coins. There are cards that trigger upon flipping coins, I think. Anyway. Cool card. I think it's doable. I'm not sure. Okay, we got the Dimir Formation. I don't know what's so Dimir about this. This is a completely red card. It is a red aura. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each other rat on the battlefield. Finally, we have got synergy with every single rat deck out there. I heard Pack Rat is coming out, and it's getting reprinted. And finally, this will go perfect in the Pack Rat deck. You told the purpose means a dry work to a weapon. What you glad? So can find a species and what they need not allows them and the forest spread. Spread that forest. Get them rats. Okay. Orchi Cetus of Adminhi. It is a white 4 generic 3/3 insect hydra. Whenever Orchi Cetus of Adminhi enters the battlefield or attacks, put target non-indenting on top on the buttles of your choice until end of turn. Stay off of my butt, Orchi Satis of Adminhi. Don't touch my butt. You're not putting anything on top of it. The Buttles. It's like some alternate word for butt. Kick it in the... They're gonna kick us in the buttles here. Yeah, don't touch my buttle. Not bottles, the buttles. Buttles. Actually, chaos did ensue on this card. Yeah, a little chaos ensued. It was like, they had us in the first half, but they lost us in the second half. Yeah, don't you top me. On top of which butt we place this. What buttles wants my Orchi Setis of Adminhi? Yeah, I choose you, Buttles. Thankfully, all of mine are indenting. Yeah, and put on top non-indenting on top of the Buttles. So if you have an indenting Buttles, well, it can't go on there. All right, so complete absolute gibberish. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Kick it in the Buttles. Okay, Cliff Mon-Wing. It is an aura for a blue. Enchant creature you control. Black. Sacrifice Cliff Mon-Wing. Draw 2 cards at end of combat. Actually pretty good. That's very strong. And actually it has a weird downside that you actually have to enchant it on a creature first, which is like, it's a huge risk in Magic the Gathering. Like if someone kills the damn thing, you don't get your Cliff Mon-Wing. It's a very awkward card to pronounce. It's Zybers, and it's basically pay a blue. Sorry, it's 2 mana, draw 2. Because you pay a blue to get it on the thing, you have to pay a black to sack it, and then you draw 2 cards at end of combat. Like, whatever, you just pass through your turn, frankly. You guys think that it's Zybers? You like this thing? 2 mana for 2 cards? This is a real Future Sight card. You can't convince me otherwise. Look at the picture. It looks like it's going into the future. This is going to be the fashion deep into the future. Very fair and lovely Future Sight frame. The border was for a new mechanics, which they don't have. Frankly, all these AI-generated cards probably should be in Future Sight style. AI-generated days is just experiencing having a stroke for an hour straight. Sushi, we should stood on the cliff of Mon-Wing. Now we're just one step further. Okay, this is playable. Actually, very playable. Very doable. It wasn't dib-licking around. Okay, we got the Iron Seashan Hatchling. It is a green 2 generic 14/16 creature. And it's got Bushido 1. I never remember what Bushido is. That is a big rat. That can go in that deck with that aura. That gives the creature +1/+1 for each rat we control. When Iron Seashan Hatchling enters the battlefield, you may return a land you control to its owner's hand. You may. You also don't have to at all. It makes me wonder sometimes, is this actually too powerful for Magic? We have a lot of creatures 3 mana. It's just some outrageously large creature, like it's a 7/6 or an 8/4. There's a lot of big creatures at 3 mana these days. It's basically like a vanilla creature. I don't remember what the Bushido does. Would that be broken at 14/16? Yeah, it doesn't even have trample. You can chump block it for days. Exactly. It's just a big boy. +1/+1. Oh, it gets +1/+1 during combat, so it's a 15/17. Dies to go to the throat. Exactly. Dies to Doomblade. It's already fair. In fact, maybe it's dead on arrival. This combos with the red enchantment from earlier. Exactly. Without that, enchantment discarded. I don't know about that. Yeah, it can come out on turn 2. It can also die on turn 2. Dies to Path to Exile. No, it gets exiled. It goes to the Urank. The biggest disparity right now is a 6 mana 18/6. Exactly. So if we can have an 18/6, we can have a 14/16, if you ask me. I don't know. You guys ask me if this is playable or not. Even in Commander, I don't even know if this would be good enough. I mean, or maybe it would, because in Commander, people don't even have any removal. They'll be like, oh my god, it's the damn hatchling. Oh no. Gigantic rat. Yeah, dies to Wrath of God. Well, you still got to get the Wrath of God out. It doesn't hit you for 20, so you'll always get 2 turns to deal with it. Alright, we got the Onaxi the Strider. It's a blue-green 2 generic 2/3 human wizard with Unleash! Is that a real mechanic? And Indoors Walk. Ooh! If you're indoors, you can't block me. And they are indoors. What does that mean? And why is it staring down 2 children so menacingly? What is going on in this house? The Strider's picking on kids here. Okay, it does have the Indoors Walk, but I don't know what Unleash is. It's Snape? Yeah, maybe it's Snape. Those meddling kids. Yeah, indoors. Guess I'll have to play from outside from now on. Yeah, if you play outside, not unblockable. Okay, you sack the hatchling to something that triggers off power toughness. Yeah, you could do that for the big rat. Unleash. You may have this creature enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. It can't block as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it. Actually, it might be relevant here. Yeah, turn into a 3/4 with your Indoors Walk. Anyway, Indoors Walk don't exist. I don't even know how you go indoors in Magic the Gathering. Is there any way? Like, as far as I'm concerned, this battle is always done outside. We never go indoors. Maybe one day there will be a mechanic. You are indoors, just like day and night. You are outside, you are inside. Be careful around the furniture. Don't break it. Don't mess with the furniture. My mom will be really angry. Yeah, there are doors in Ixalan. Yeah, I'm telling you to touch grass. Touch grass and you won't have the Indoors Walk. Yeah, bring a table to my local game store, and after F&M, when the doors close, we play outside the shop. I call it street magic, and this fits. All right. Anyway, it's a very silly looking card. Okay, we saw Bottles, and now we have Butter, the Ascendancy. Oh, Butter Ascendancy. The Ascendancy of what looks like a big wiener, to be honest. It is a red 2 generic aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. Also, sacrifice Butter Ascendancy to scry 2. This is not a very exciting card. It is completely doable. Not even particularly useful. I guess it's removal, or you can scry, which is not even, is that even a red thing? Yeah, it's a red thing, I guess. There are cards out there. I guess actually scry is like, almost like the blue card draw, or close to it. Yeah, lots of auras today. You like this card? Like, are you gonna put this in your commander deck? Come on, this is a little weak. Too weak. And break the color pie. Why would it break the color pie? Oh, because this is like a more of a black thing. The -2/-2. The art is top notch. AI weirdness. Yep. The AI is looking into our soul, and they saw this, and that's why they put it onto the card. Everyone says like it's what's that? That not totem, the statue. If it was 1 mana, it would be cool in draft, maybe. I think this probably is draft playable. That's what we can say about the Butter Ascendancy. Okay, Mind Fudge. It is a red, very angry. I don't even know. I don't know who this is. It's an aura. It's also enchant, haunt, enters with menace, and flash. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, counter that spell. That's exactly. I want to counter my own damn spells. It's exactly what I want to do. So you have to give this to somebody else. That's the only way that this will work. But chaos ensued early on here. Enchant, haunt, enters with menace. What do you mean by that, AI? How do I enchant the haunt that enters with menace? Yeah, it's an absolute confusing mess. As someone who doesn't mind fudge, I see this as an absolute win. Oh, you mean like it looks like chocolate? Oh no, yeah, it is. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the whole name. Yeah, it is Mind Fudge. Oh yeah, this is why that's why it looks so weird. It's a chocolate doll of some sort. You're delicious, Mind Fudge. You're absolutely delicious. Yeah, get fudged. Someone's gonna get fudged up around here. Whoever has the Mind Fudge. Oh, that makes so much sense too. Your mind is fudged, hence why you can never resolve a single non-creature spell. You try to lightning bolt. Nah, you don't got that concentration. It gets countered. You try to play an artifact. I don't know how to cast this spell. It gets countered. Yeah, you fudge yourself, and that's why your stuff gets countered. So I think the key thing about this card is you have to give it to somebody else. You also have to cast it before they even cast their spell. Otherwise the spell resolves anyway. This card, if someone casts this against you, Elwinter is like, this card could go fudge itself. Yeah, you're basically fudged. I'm enjoying fudge. I don't even need any more creatures. And you can still play your creatures, by the way. I mean, you can still, like, this won't even affect everybody. Welcome, Goat. Needs to be a good aura. This actually, I think this is pretty good. But you somehow have to give this control. You have to give this to somebody else so that they're the controller. You like donate it to them or something. But the first line of text makes no sense, so it gets disqualified. Completely useless. All right. Moving on, we got the Thieves Zekglazer. It is a 13/13 god for red, black, blue, white, 1, and X. It sort of looks like Ganon to me from Legend of Zelda. Okay, it's got flying and trample, and the X seems to be irrelevant. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. And you gain 1 life. That is a 1-card combo! So basically, you gain 1 life, and it's all over. Because as often as your opponent's losing life, you are also gaining life. So the moment, it's like lighting a spark, and the whole... Has anyone seen those, like, those short videos online where someone lights a whole, I don't know, cotton factory on fire? You know, there's some, or fireworks. You know, one thing goes off, everything goes off. So, like, yeah. They look... The moment you gain 1 life, everyone's dead. And that's a 2-card combo. Yeah, gain life, win game. Effectively. They can still interact with the triggers on the stack, remember. I think whenever you gain 1 life, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. I think because... I'm not sure. I think it will keep triggering. I don't think the game will just be over on the spot. You can play this in... Oh, yeah, it's a common. Pauper legal. Just let me get me the 7+ mana. And you have to be in the Greenless Wooburg. Greenless Wooburg is how it works. You want this that badly, Abzo. Yes. This card means gain X live. What do you mean? Gain X life, ETB to be balanced? No, it does not. The flying and trample are also completely irrelevant. Now, the question is this fair? Like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 7 mana. Like, there are other 1-card combos. And, like, also, life gain cards sort of suck. I mean, you could... Actually, this combos easily. You just need to have some creature or something that says, when a creature enters the battlefield, you gain that much life. So, Thieves Zekglazer enters the battlefield, and it's all over! Anyway, get it out of here. 2 busted! And we're going to look at way more of these wild AI-generated cards, but we got to thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com. You love the fake AI cards, but you know what you also like? You love real cards. You buy them all the time, and what a better place to buy them than at FusionGamingOnline.com. Our sponsor. That's how it supports the channel. You can buy all your Lost Caverns of Ixalan singles. I'm still buying my singles. I'm collecting my regular cards, my foil cards for my commander, and also modern decks. And maybe you do the same thing as well. And if you're like Nikachu, you're going to want to use your coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. It's cheaper if you want to play more decks. If decks get banned, your deck doesn't. Theirs does. And you get to play more decks and get that sweet competitive edge when you're renting on Magic Online with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_BA8. Okay, back to Insano Land. It's the Wild West over here. Van is like, fake MTG is better than real MTG, to be honest. By all means, you can print out these cards. Take a snapshot. Yeah, get your Tishana's Tidebinders. I've left many for everybody now. I was swiping them for quite a few weeks. Okay, we've got Drana's Chimer. It's a 2-mana 2/2 core war. Not warrior. It's the core war. It's like, is it worn down? Look at this thing. It looks like he's made out of gold. Sacrifice another creature. Create a tap treasure token. That's wild. Turn creatures into treasures. This is a neat card, as far as I'm concerned. Like, if your stuff is gonna die, just sack it all and turn it into gold. And then you can use it to, like, make other stuff. Ramp into other things. I don't even know if it's fair. What do you guys think? Is this Zyber or is this broken? As far as I'm concerned, like, this is an insane sack outlet. You don't even pay mana for this damn thing. Yeah, this is some Midas Touch stuff. No golem? Looks like a golem, but I guess it's a core war. Okay, Platonic Liquid thinks it's broken. No cost sack outlet. Overpowered, maybe. It's possible. Tapped a bit fair. Create a... Oh, yeah, the treasure comes into play tapped, so you can't make use of the mana immediately. You'd have to use it next turn. I keep forgetting. Treasures, you have to tap to sacrifice those damn things. I love the rhyming creature type. What, Jadrana's Chimer? The Core War? I don't feel the rhyme. No protection, and the treasures are tapped. Academy just got $200. $200 more. I don't think Academy decks play a lot of creatures, though. They're not like a big creature deck. And then Leaf is like, come on, chat. This is ridiculously busted. You should all be afraid. The art does Zyber. Imagine this in Teysa Karlov. Definitely Zyber's. Platonic Liquid says, play with a colorless artifact shell and fill your top end with bombs in any color. I mean, yeah, so, like, you can, like, sack your dinky stuff early on, and then you'll have the treasures necessary. And you can even sacrifice itself. Oh, no, you can't. It's sacrifice another creature. Whatever. Even still, just sack your other stuff, and you've got the ramp to play your bombs later on in the game. Are the big and small guys playing rock, paper, scissors? I do not know what they are doing. I cannot speculate. Very interesting card. I'm going to say it's doable. You guys are going to have to figure it out if this is busted or not, though. Very interesting design, though. Ooh, yeah, I could break it with Amulet of Vigor. Absolutely. Yeah, token generation plus this. But you remember, token decks, their weakness is that they're token decks. Okay, moving on. We got the Krar Thrash Weath Meddler. It's a 9-mana, 1932. That is big butt on this thing. It is a Gorgon with flying. Now, it's funny that they give, in one-on-one, they'll leave you 1 life. 1 life! I'll deal 19 damage to you. I'll give you 1 more turn after this. Oh, it's legendary, so it's like, it's also a 2-turn, it's also a 2-turn clock in Commander. Okay, you can pay the kick. You have 2 kickers that you could pay. They are so damn close to each other. You can pay black 2 generic, or for whatever reason, you can pay a black 3 generic. If Krar Thrash Weath Meddler was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 6 carrion counters on that. What those are, I have no idea. Whenever another creature dies, you may return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So basically, nothing's allowed to die. And this affects everybody. So if you steal something, I can kill it and it comes back under my control. Some pretty cool, interesting abilities underneath it. And it's a 9-mana creature. Like, this is not cheap. This is Eldrazi level expensive. So it might as well deal 19 damage. And if nothing, you'd probably prefer getting hit for 19 than to take, like, Annihilator 6. Am I right? Not a creature, so fair. That is true. Is it a creature? So is everything completely ignored? Or is it, like, only there so that when you animate it, it's like, it's got all this stuff? I mean, it has a creature type. It's a Gorgon. Or can we have, like, a Gorgon legendary artifact? Judge! Is this a creature? It's got a creature type on it. Or does it literally need to say legendary artifact creature? Wait, so it can't die to creature removal. Not yet. It's not a creature. We are dumb as F. In some ways, yes. Don't worry, we're just mind fudged. That's all. We're just a little mind fudged this morning. Yeah, but 1932, that's crazy. It's less crazy when they can't attack, though. It looked in a mirror. Oh, yeah, you can Ensoul Artifact this thing. Then it will be, I can't remember. I think it's, does it animate the stats? I think it's only as big as, no, it turns into a 5/5, right? Okay, it is a creature. It needs to say creature. We're a little divided on this. Okay, Icho says it needs to say creature. A stat block doesn't make it so, ironically. Okay. It's nothing then. It kind of looks like it's laughing. Or screaming. Or both. I'm the Cry Thrash with the Meddler. Ha ha. Behold my great power and toughness. And at the same time, useless. But that's why no one attacks me. Vehicles have power and toughness and aren't creatures. Oh, touche. It's actually true. Yeah, it's just kind of like a vehicle. Okay, we got to animate this thing. Okay, so it has extra steps required. I think it's fair. And actually there's... Oh, no, but the carrion... I don't know what a carrion counter is, so... It means nothing to us. Please make that the face of the new thumbnail. I don't know. We got... There's things competing for the thumbnail. We got Butler. The Buttles. Buttles? I can't remember what it was. And also the Mind Fudge. So there's a lot of competition for that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to move on. Not doable because of carrion thing. The carrion counters. Okay, we got the Saland Phyrexian Grame. It is beautiful. This is a very beautiful Phyrexian Grame. It apparently is a bird warlock for Abzan. It's a 3/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each kind of counter among permanents you control. Ah, finally, if I get out my Krarthrash Weath Meddler with 6 carrion counters on it, this thing will get a +1/+1 counter for all my carrion counters. Yeah, super unique ability for every counter that we have. And then you can do whatever you want with those counters. You want to move them around. Probably good in a proliferate deck. Yeah, oh god, the proliferate stats. Seems like a real card. It does seem like a real card. Believe it or not, AI. That's the whole point of AI. They try to make it as close to something human designed as possible. It just trips over its own words sometimes. Very good value. I like the card. Yeah, Bird Kindred. Good for the bird decks. Bird needs more help. Not enough bird decks out there. Needs to be unique types of counters, so it's pretty limited. Very cool. Strong but fair. Oh, it's each kind of counter. So you need, like, infect counter, +1/+1 counter, defense counter, stun counter. That's really hard to build around. Yeah, it's each type of counter. Damn. Whatever, still doable. You want to play the Saland Phyrexian Grame? Go for it. Probably looks great in foil. I would buy foils even if I wouldn't even play with it. Okay, we've got the Intrasib Act. It is a green 1/2 human wizard. Snake you control gets +1/+1. Only one! There can only be one snake. And the rest of the snakes can screw it. Whenever chaos ensues, which happens all the time on this show, creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. Finally, we actually have some means of using all the other weird cards. Because if they don't make any sense, we can claim chaos ensues. Chaos ensues is back, baby! It's been like a year since we saw chaos ensues on this show. Yeah, chaos payoff. Yeah, chaos. Oh, who said that? Chaos ensues. Yeah, so always. Well, almost always, you know. I like this card for the plane chase, actually. There needs to be more cards that interact. Chaos ensues has a different meaning on this show. But yes, if you're playing plane chase, it works. I like that it says one snake gets +1/+1. Also, when do I get to choose this? Do I choose this, like, at any time? Do I get to arbitrarily change which snake gets +1/+1? Whenever I want. I could imagine a Snake Charmer Pied Piper crossover flavor for this card. That's possible. Oh yeah, he's trying to sing the snake out of the pot. This is almost a real card. I think yeah, it's almost a real card. Except the snake you control. Snake Plishkin? Not quite. Snake is the plural form of snack. Is it? Oh, does it mean the card named Snake? Snake you control. Maybe. Yeah, maybe there's a snake to be determined. It's referring to a creature named Snake, not really. You know what? Maybe that's true. All right, we're gonna say this is doable. We can print this card. Okay, we got word salad here. Primeval Hydra. Pretty sick looking picture too. It is a red 4 generic 5/5 dragon. Do you know what? The dragons, the hydras, I'm sure they're all part of the same, like, gene pool. Descend 4. Is that a real mechanic? Whenever Primeval Hydra deals combat damage to a player, that player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal an elf or a basic land. Okay, they'll probably have basic lands, although not everyone does, but there's not a very good chance that they have an elf. Put those cards onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your graveyard, and the rest into your hand. We're putting cards from their deck into our hand. That is broken. Not to mention, not a lot of decks play a lot of basic lands. Otherwise, return those cards to your hand. Then sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only during your turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Very unfortunately. Chaos ensued in the second half. First half was just outright broken as hell. We put our opponent's deck into our hand, and then, but then the second half didn't make any damn sense whatsoever. It's like it's like sort of a red Primeval Titan. Okay, Descend 4 implies that this ability only occurs if you have 4 permanents in your graveyard. Very, very weird. Gabe, reminding us of the rules. 400.3, if an object would go into any library, graveyard, or hand other than its owner's, it goes to its owner's corresponding zone. Well, not in this world. They open the design space. Your cards go to my zone. And then it just gets returned later. If anything, this is very Arena-like. Arena's already breaking these rules like crazy. In fact, in Arena, they just make up cards on the spot. You can conjure them into existence. Died from chaos trying to find Snake. I play Primeval Hydra, but I don't have Elf. Then give me your deck. But they can have basic land. That's the thing. You can have basic land. No, Elves is the counter to this card. Because you'll very quickly... You're banking on your opponent not having Elves or basic lands in their deck. Because the less of those that are in their deck... Like, that player reveals cards from the top of the library until they reveal an Elf or basic land. Then you put those cards onto the battlefield. So you put the Elf or basic land onto the battlefield. But you put the rest of it, like all the cards that revealed, into your hand. That is insane, mind-boggling, like, card advantage. Yeah, basic land check. If this card is in the metagame, you're going to want to play with a lot of basic lands so that you don't get screwed over. Yeah, their fault for not playing basics. Exactly. It's got to have a downside. Play Price of Progress. Yeah, our creature's got trample. Reading the card explains the card. Exactly. Although the other half, reading the card, does not very much explain the card. So, we are shredding it. It gets shredded. Broken Rampage. It is a black sorcery. Target creature gets +5/+5, gains trample until end of turn, and you draw a card. This is basically Modern Horizons 3, like, giant growth. This is giant growth for today's standards. And it has a cost. Again, you have to target a creature at sorcery speed, so your opponents will completely see it through. And if it gets removed in response, you get nothing. You get absolutely nothing. You guys think this is broken? I actually think that this is fair. I think this is very fair. Come on, like, Giant Growth sees, like, no play at all. Who's out there playing Giant Growth in their commander deck? You let me know. You show me your deck list. That's right, you're not playing Giant Growth. No one's playing Giant Growth. It's been completely power crept out of the game. Think it should be green? A better Giant Growth, and it's black? Well, remember, it's sorcery. So you can't do it in response to someone using removal on you. Like, no one can, like, lightning bolt your creature in response broken rampage. Giant growth used to be a green staple back in the day. Yeah, and today it's a completely forgotten nonsense. It makes no sense in black. It should be green to fit the color pie. What makes it no sense in black? Black is all about getting on the ground and getting stronger. They got buff spells. They got card draw. I think this is very black. I think it's a very black ability. They're not that far off on the color pie. Like, this +5/+5 thing, like, that's something that blue would have nothing to do with. It also should die at end of turn, just like Power Overwhelming in Hearthstone. Maybe. But then maybe give it instant speed. Neil Bullseye says, if Yu-Gi-Oh taught me anything, normal spell speeds that are just an attack buff means nothing. Yeah, but in Yu-Gi-Oh you have 8,000 life points. In Magic we have 20. Or 40, depending on the format you're playing. This is OP because cards like Ivy, Glee, Spell Thief, or Duelcaster. What do you guys think? Infect... Oh! Infect already does run black. Have you heard of Sultai Infect or even Golgari Infect? That's a real thing. I didn't think about that. This card would be completely broken in Infect. All right. Maybe. Maybe this card's broken. Maybe. Maybe. And all other circumstances, it's fine. Maybe. I'm going to say it's doable. The Infect players, you got to prove us that... Infect doesn't even see that much play anymore. Yu-Gi-Oh also doesn't have a resource system. Yeah, like mana. They got nothing. This card is broken. Broken Rampage. Yeah, it is. As advertised. Look, you can't spell Broken Rampage without broken. So, fear the Broken Rampage. We got Ashkin Mana Fleet Dragon. It is a red, 2 generic 6/6 dragon with flying and vigilance. Whenever an opponent draws 3 cards, untap all lands you control. That is totally fair. This is a real card, and also punishes people for drawing too many cards. So if opponent can play on opponent's creatures. Oh, you're talking about the last card. Yeah, finally a brainstorm counter. If someone plays brainstorm, they draw too many cards off of like Consecrated Sphinx. You get to benefit by untapping all the lands in your card. Oh, the Dragon Fam is arising. Oh my god, I love this. It's a beautiful dragon with a silly gimmick. That's not silly, that's real. 3 cards in a turn, or does it remember how many? I'm assuming it's 3 cards in a turn. Although I didn't catch that. Yeah, it doesn't specify. Whenever opponent draws 3 cards. I think it will check every turn. It would just check every single turn. So if you like draw a card for the turn, draw 2 more cards off of some other effect, I untap all lands I control. Okay, but it's 3, not 3 or more, or whenever opponent draws the 3rd card. Whenever opponent draws 3 cards, I think it will check even if you draw 4, because you still drew at least 3. I don't think it needs to specify that it has to be exactly 3 cards. Not 4 or 5 exact. You guys think it's that specific? Whenever an opponent draws 3 cards, untap all lands you control. I think it includes, like, if you draw 4 cards, you also drew 3. That's the way I'm looking at this card. Good versus, yeah, well, if anyone wants to play the front half of Lorien Revealed. Yeah, exactly. You need to draw 3 to draw 4. I don't know if Magic the Gathering is that absolute specific with their mechanics. Oh, you can also wheel. That's a great idea. Just wheel and enjoy. You can go infinite with Windfall and stuff like that. Keep making them draw cards. Oh, and it's also, I assume you're going to get a trigger for each one of your opponents. So if you wheel, you get 3 untap triggers. You can float your mana like 3 times. Yeah, Arcanus. The counter to the Arcanus the Omnipotent. Windfall triggers this twice? I think 3 times if you're playing with enough opponents. Will never trigger via the rules? Well, I should at least trigger if you play like Ancestral Recall, Brainstorm, or one of those other cards, right? I'm assuming this triggers if you draw at least 3 cards at any point. even though it looks ambiguous. Burning Inquiry makes a lot of mana. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Burning Inquiry is the 1 red. Each player draws 3 cards, discards 3 cards at random. It has to be 3 in 1 ability. You guys serious? Okay, I'm gonna trust you guys. Even at 3, I think it's fine. I think you can con your opponents into drawing 3. It's possible. It can be done. Just make sure you windfall for 3, that's all. That's all that has to be done here. It needs to be worded better, but the concept is actually pretty awesome, especially in red. I agree. I like this card. And it's still doable either way. And it's got Vigilance. It's actually a pretty big creature by itself. 5 mana, 6/6 flying Vigilance. It's nothing to sneeze at. Okay, we got the Foddish Guide. It's a white 4 generic 1/1 elk. It's a lot of mana for one elk. And it's got flying. All right, fly over. Fly, my elk, fly. Probably worked for Santa at one time. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent creates 2 black zombie creature tokens. Again, we're giving people zombies. The zombie apocalypse. Target opponent gets 2 zombies. It's some weird group hug card. Yeah, mega group hug. But you give it to somebody else. Homelands power level. The power of the homelands. Ah, very, very funny. Gives gifts to the opponent. Yeah, the gift of zombies. 'Tis the season to be giving. This is zombie gift tribal. Remember a year ago when these cards made absolutely no sense ever? Oh, very funny card. Oh yeah, votes for flying. It's a very flying card. Flying elk. So made by some AI that made the rogue. Yeah, exactly. It was the same faction of the AI that made the rogue. Such a good idea to give everybody zombies. The elk in the art is running away from the zombies. Kind of nice. Also, taunting the zombies. Can't catch me. The zombies voted for Sprout staying on the ground. See, I like how we got those 3 different political factions. You got Flying, which is in the air. You got Deeply, which is underground. And then you got Sprout, the level-headed, the one on the ground. Sprout touches grass around here. And so do the zombies. Alright, it's completely doable. It's a bit weird, but sure. It looks like it's from some sort of video game. Mare to the Brawler. It is a 1 mana artifact. Tap to add a white or green to your mana pool. That's actually broken. This is just like, this is almost soul rank. Like, this is a completely busted mana rock. It is like it's like Birds of Paradise, not Birds of Paradise, it's like Llanowar Elves you can put in any deck. All right, and then for Grixis 1 generic, Mare to Brawler becomes a 7/7 blue and red peach artifact creature until end of turn. It is still a land. This is not the most broken thing I've ever seen, but this is pushed as hell. I mean, it's pretty broken. This is an awesome Wooburg card. Yeah, it's not a Mox exactly, because you do have to pay 1 mana for it. But I mean, that's a good rate. Paying 1 mana to be able to immediately tap for another mana. Immediately, you lose nothing. I'm Peach. Yeah, it does look like a Trump Kirby. Well, no, yeah. Kirby and Trump combined. Or maybe Kirby just liked Trump's hairdo, that's all. At this point, the AI might as well say and or. Could exist. I mean, Mana Crypt exists. Yeah, I mean, to some... I think this is just a more broken version of those cards. Trump Peach impeachment. I get it. It all works together. The AI is getting really meta on this card. Would be awesome if it entered the... whoops. Where am I? Where I'm going? Okay. Would be awesome if entered tapped. It would be fair if it entered tapped, but the fact that it didn't enter tapped is not like that big of a deal. Or, I mean, it is a big of a deal, but then it wouldn't be exciting. The Peach Brawler. Llanowar exists. Why not this? Because this can go in any deck. That's why. Like, one-on-one, this would be banned in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, everywhere. And it's not even a creature. You can't even kill the damn thing. Kirby ate Trump, and now he's just keeps saying, I'm Peach. Because that's all that's on Trump's mind. Oh, actually, that actually is funny. I totally forgot about that. Kirby takes the power of, like, what Kirby eats. So all he gained was the hair. Is there any flavor text here? I don't see it. Oh yeah, that's what you guys... It turns into a red peach artifact creature token. Ah, I get it. I see you guys' jokes. I think it's fair in Commander because you can only run it in a 5... Yeah, in Commander it'll be more fair. It's got to be in a Wooburg deck. Which in some cases is more broken, right? Because, like, a non-Wooburg deck doesn't have access to this mana rock. Like, come on, this is busted. It's absolute busted. Get it out of here. I think it's too strong. Too strong. Okay, as cut. The Cursed Harbinger. It is a blue, 2 generic 1/4 human wizard. Creatures lose all abilities and become Bidwife. And sacrifice a forest. Each player discards one of them. Unfortunately, the second part, like, doesn't even make any sense. Okay, we lose all abilities and become Bidwife. I don't, your guys' guess is as good as mine on this. Yeah, my Bidwife. Oh no, now you're my waifu. Who is them? The creatures become one? Oh, all the creatures lose the ability and become wives, I guess. Some, yeah, in Borat voice. You're my Bidwife. $5 for your wife. We're gonna bid for everybody's creatures. Can't sack, negates itself. Oh yeah, it's true! It immediately just loses its own ability and becomes a bit... Does it even become Bidwife after that? That is so funny. Yeah, you don't even get the sacrifice forest ability, because all creatures lose all abilities. Are we bidding? Hold on, sacrifice a forest. Each player discards one of them. I'm starting to think, like, do we sack forest to bid? It is, in fact, a cursed card. Absolutely is cursed. He was the Bidwife. They become the Bidwife. Discard forest if any player have forests in hand. I guess so. If all creatures lose abilities, then this creature loses abilities, but then abilities aren't lost anymore. Paradox card. No, I think it just loses all abilities. Oh, actually, no, that's true. Sometimes I wonder if I could program my own, like, make my own card on Magic Online and just see what happens to the client. You know, it's probably a layers thing, if anything. I'd say that if it did work, it would make each player discard one forest, assuming they have any. I guess? No bidding of wives, I guess. Yeah, not as we expected. Emperor is like, 0 out of 10, would not ship. Get it out of here! The Paradox card. Okay, Poison the Weird. A very weird picture indeed. It is a red 3 generic instant. Target creature can't block this turn as though they didn't have Defender. It's got Delirium. If you don't have... Hold on. If you don't play this card, you may exile it. If you do, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. That is a very funky ability. So if I have 4 different card types in my graveyard, I may opt to exile this card to put a card from my graveyard back in my deck, but at the bottom of my library. So this is pretty cool, to be honest. Target creature can't block. The front half sucks. I mean, it's completely useless. Target creature can't block this turn as though they didn't have Defender. I mean... Actually, does that even make any sense? Target creature can't block this turn as though they didn't have Defender. Okay, so it does make sense. If they didn't have Defender, they could block anyway, but they can definitely block now. But this card says they can't block, even though they normally could block without having Defender. The second part is interesting, though. Can use Delirium from the graveyard? Absolutely. Delirium is a real mechanic. It's not the correct text. This sure is a weird poison. It works? Brawly Shadow says it works, but it doesn't need the defender line, I think. Probably not. Screw it. I'm going to block it as... Yeah, I got to remember this whenever I play some competitive Magic. I'm going to block as though my creature didn't have defender. If it says exile this card and put that card from the graveyard onto the into the bottom of its owner's library is fair. Everything else is nonsense. That's not how Delirium works. No, isn't it Delirium? If you don't play this card, you may exile it. It's as if it's like an alternate cast to this card, right? So if you have Delirium online, so you have 4 different card types in your graveyard, you may exile Poison of the Weird. If you do, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I think that makes sense to me. If I were playing competitive Magic, that's how I would interpret it. Wait, can you steal from enemy graveyards? Ooh! If you do, put target card from a graveyard, any graveyard on the bottom of... Oh, on the bottom of its owner's library. So you could take someone else's card from a graveyard and stick it under their library if you want to, but you can't put it in your library because you're not the owner. Yeah, bottom of its owners. AI had the foresight not to bend the rules that badly. Okay, Cyber Gaming, that is not how Delirium works. There is no graveyard text in this card. Who cares? You want it to say graveyard? It's good enough for me! It's good enough for me! And that's it for Coffee and MTG today. Thank you so much for joining us. That was hilarious. All right, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here weekdays, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Reminder, December 20th to January 5th, we'll have 2 Coffee and MTGs a day, with the exception of Christmas, starting at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For everyone who's never been able to make the show, here's maybe a chance for you to see it in your time zone. Thanks everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, really appreciate it. Big support. We also have to support and thank everyone who shows up in the morning, like Polypropylene, and also Steve Cooper, Hastat Arcanus, Lo-Fi, Stanel, Waking Dead, Markzilla, Toads, Mr. Deadhead, Brawly's Shadow, Fluffle Waffle, Lightning Medic. We got Van. We got Sushi Elemental, the Emperor. We also have more Lee Fisher and Fidio, Demand. Okay, Platonic wants one card. Okay, we look at this is a little late. Usually you're supposed to get these in ahead of time. Okay, we'll look at one more. Whoops. We'll look at the Bloodlust Condor. It is a blue 3 generic 4/4 Angel Warrior with reach, and Bloodlust Condor can't attack if it's your turn. Okay, like when the hell when exactly is this going to attack at all? Like, I can't attack on their turn. It's a completely pointless card. Yeah, what a picture. It's pretty wild. Looks like he's ready for the attack. It is an Angel Warrior. Where is my battle? But can't attack, but has reach. Very good at defending. All right, sweet. Thanks, everybody. And as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next